Chester, over here, please.
Hey, no pictures, please. I don't want to be seen here.
Hey, everybody, Jefferson Webster here. Let's talk about the 1992 film Ladybugs, starring Rodney Dangerfield. For those of you who don't know who Rodney Dangerfield is, he was a legendary stand-up comedian who made the jump to the big screen in the 80s, featuring in films such as Caddyshack and Back to School. His comedic approach is essentially to beat you into submission with one-liners. Ladybugs is one of those weird films that tries to walk the line of an adult comedy and a kid's film. However, it never really does either successfully. Somehow they ended up spending $20 million to make this, likely to secure actors, actresses, and the director, but regardless, it wasn't a profitable endeavor. The good news is the film is still entertaining. Is it objectively bad? Yes. But it's one of those good, bad movies, you know? Do the jokes and content hold up in 2021? Absolutely not. Let's get into it. Chester Lee, played by Rodney Dangerfield, works a sales job for a corporation in Denver where he is vying desperately for a promotion so he can afford the wedding with his fiancée Bess. In the beginning of the film, Chester attends some sort of self-help workshop where the guru gives terrible advice, telling Chester to basically kiss his boss's to get ahead. Chester goes to confront his boss, an arrogant jerk, to ask for a promotion. He cowers and pivots to telling a white lie about his soccer experience upon seeing the various soccer trophies in his boss's office. The boss's wife walks into the room, a cliché attractive housewife, and volunteers Chester to coach the company girls' soccer team. Chester pulls along his assistant Julie, more on her later, to help coach the team. As for the team, they were this dynasty of winning teams. However, upon attending the first practice, they learn that the team only has one returning member, and the new girls on the team, well, they're not good. Upon losing the first game badly, Chester's boss dangles a job promotion in front of him, saying that if he can turn the team around and win a championship, then he would get the promotion, which thereby is an illegal promise, so there's your conflict. Side plot, Bess has a son from a previous marriage, Matthew, who just happens to be good at sports, a similar age as the girls on the soccer team, and was conveniently just kicked off the boys' soccer team due to poor grades in school. Chester agrees with Bess to talk to Matthew about improving his grades, but he ends up coercing him into watching the girls' soccer practice for coaching guidance. Then the film sexualizes a 14-year-old girl, the boss's daughter Kimberly, in Matthew's horny dream sequence. Chester convinces Matthew to dress up like a girl under the name Martha and joins the girls' soccer team. Motivated by raging teen hormones, Matthew agrees. Evidently for girls' soccer, Matthew's grades are irrelevant. The film does the classic Superman tropes where everyone in the film doesn't know Matthew is Martha, even though it's obvious. In fact, Kimberly sees Matthew literally the week that Martha shows up for the second game of the season. She's like 15 yards away from him, and on game day, oh hi Martha. Additional scenes of this nonsense continue with Kimberly's mom and Matthew's own mother. Then you have this gem of Rodney Dangerfield dressing up like Martha's mother. They lose the first game of the season with Martha, but the team makes progress, feeding the boss's creepy obsession with having a winning team. Chester gives Matthew a brief lecture on being more of a team player and how to be a lady.
And the girl doesn't say I gotta take a leak so bad I can taste it.
Next, the team goes from 0-2 to 6-2, winning 6 straight games leading to the championship game. Before the championship game, Kimberly, yeah, remember her? Well, she's now proclaimed that Martha's her best friend. According to my calculations, assuming they are playing 1 game a week, Kimberly had only known Martha for 6 weeks at this point, and now she's her best friend? Let's be honest, an affluent, cute girl like her who lives in a giant mansion would be extremely popular and possibly even kind of mean. Regardless, Kimberly just somehow finds out where Martha lives and stops by to Matthew's surprise. Stalker. This situation leads to Matthew's mother finding out about Martha and the hits the fan. As a result, Martha isn't allowed to play in the championship game.
You're gonna have to do without Kimberly today, Chester. When I told her I didn't want her to play in today's game, I just wanted her to sit in the stands and root for the team. She got upset and went home.
I remember seeing this scene as a kid and thought it was hilarious. I don't know what that says about me, but I still think it's funny. Right before the championship game, Chester informs his boss that Martha will not be playing that day, and well, just another showing of how much of an unbelievable the boss is. He storms off in anger. Kimberly's parents couldn't possibly risk the embarrassment if she missed a goal. That's stupid. I mean, look at this kick that hits these idiots riding bikes earlier in the season. If that were my kid, they'd be getting ice cream after the game. During the first half of the championship game, Matthew takes a cab to Kimberly's house alone because sure, why not? That's safe, right? He reveals that he was Martha all along, and they're alone in the mansion. Apparently in that moment, Matthew's hormones are in hibernation because he convinces her to take the cab back with him so she can play in the championship game. As for the championship game, the other coach is way over the top as some war veteran with PTSD. Of course they bake in drama as the Ladybugs trail 3-0 at the half. During the halftime, Matthew tells the rest of the team that he was Martha all along. This fires the team up in the notion that they don't need a man to win. Condescend much? During the final period, Chester gets into a heated confrontation with his boss, insisting to bench his daughter. Who does that? This sets the table for, spoiler alert, Kimberly making the game-winning penalty kick. So we talked about the plot of the film, now let's talk about some of the characters and main themes. First things first, I'm convinced that Chester's assistant Julie, played by Jack A. Harris, is a serial killer.
Looks like Norman Bates is playing soccer.
Look at her office area. I think her and Chester share an office, but holy look at how cluttered it is. I mean, look at all that random stuff. Also, singing by yourself is not an indictment here, but I get the impression she does that all the time and she's likely talking to herself. The hallmarks of a sociopath. And last but not least, no one eats a sandwich like this. And also, who brings a giant sandwich to a soccer practice? This is Sally Ann, and she's boy crazy. I'm pretty sure her character now lives in a Florida trailer park with 10 children from several baby daddies. Look at her totally shift her behavior as soon as Martha turns into Matthew. Yikes, calm down. During the first game of the season, Chester and Julie have a conversation regarding the best player on the team. Julie advocates for Nancy, the only African-American player on the team, stating that black players are the best at sports. Chester replies with sports like hockey, water polo, yeah, we get it. White people are lame and bad at sports. Later in the season, during the championship game, Julie tells Nancy to suck out the other team. This doesn't age well, but regardless, Nancy becomes mean and good all of a sudden as she marches down the field and scores immediately after this chat, probably because she feared for her life. Pester Prince is a socially awkward character that lacks confidence, which leads to this insanely cringeworthy scene.
What you look like when you had that. Okay, hold that thing here. What beautiful hair. Let me see with your glasses off too. Will you? Take your glasses off. Oh, look at those brown eyes. I'll tell you something, Penny Pester. If I was younger, I would definitely ask you for a date.
I think there were good intentions here, but yikes. Now it's time for the lightning round. Here's a joke where Chester positions homosexuality as a learned behavior. Here's a joke about pedophilia. How about some workplace sexual harassment? Sex used as a manipulative tool. I suppose that still happens today, but it's still annoying. They go way out of their way here to talk about this interracial relationship misunderstanding. Gender-neutral bathrooms. It's not like we're hanging out with our wangs out. I don't know why she screams. Traditional gender roles. Ugly and fat jokes. Just generally creepy Rodney Dangerfield ogling women. This was a thing that he did back then. Child molestation jokes. Not cool. And finally, just to reiterate, sexualizing a teen and racial stereotypes. A few more things to add. This is an obvious handball. Watch it hit his hand right there. One more time. Bam! In this film, there are 21 goals scored in games, and nearly 2/3 of these goals are worm burners, meaning that they barely get off the ground. Now, I'm not saying you have to get professional soccer players to fill in these roles, but you couldn't get 1 or 2 takes of these girls popping it in the net? Cripes. Apparently, it's okay to just bring adult beverages and drink them during girls' soccer games. These games have to be in the morning or midday. Good lord. Who wears this to a girls' soccer game? Seriously. Okay, so objectively there's a lot of bad, but let's talk about some of the good. During halftime of the championship game, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile makes an appearance. Pretty awesome, guys. Spoiler alert, Chester ends up coaching the company baseball team, and he runs into Tommy Lasorda, a nice cameo for the film. Rest in peace. Here's Here's a fun fact. Leonardo DiCaprio auditioned for the role of Matthew and didn't get it. I think it'll turn out okay for him. The film aired on national TV in 1994 as part of ABC's Family Movie. And finally, easily my favorite factoid about the movie. This is Oliver Stone's all-time favorite comedy. Hey Oliver, what's your favorite comedy? Blazing Saddles? Monty Python? Dumb and Dumber? Oh, Ladybugs? Oh. Well guys, that's it. I either saved you 90 minutes from watching the film or I persuaded you to go check it out. Either way, that's Ladybugs. In the meantime, be safe, wear a mask, and save a life. See you guys.